Hey, welcome. Today we're going to talk about how to start your online boutique. Are you excited? I know you are. Let's get into it. I know that you've been thinking about starting your boutique. You have that little spark in your heart, and no matter what you do, it doesn't go away. We've all been there. Anyone that has started their own business has these thoughts that go through their head that are like, am I really going to do this? Am I really going to do it? And we try to do as much research and preparation as possible to make sure that we are set up for success. So just by finding this video, saving this video, subscribing to this channel, you're already going to be steps ahead when it comes to actual launch day. So I'm going to break this down into the 5 steps that I believe you really need to focus on if you want to actually set yourself up to be a boutique that's not going to launch to crickets. There's a lot of basic steps that you could literally find anywhere, so I'm not going to get too into the nitty-gritty of those, like getting your EIN, getting your sales tax ID, making sure your bank account's set up. That stuff we got. But what I really want to focus on is, okay, we've got the basics down. Now what, right? How do we actually get to the point where we're naming our store, we know who our customers are, we're ordering inventory, and we're getting ready for that, oh my gosh, we're about to freaking do this launch day. The very first thing I want to cover in this video is often a step that is literally skipped by so many boutiques. Just the joy, the excitement, and just that energy of like, let's freaking go. We sometimes miss some of the really important foundational pieces that are going to help us sell a lot of product. And the very first one is, who is your customer? And you may be thinking, well, Allie, I haven't even launched my boutique yet. How do I know who my customer is? This is the whole secret to blowing up and building a 7-figure boutique. You need to know who your customer is ahead of time. So this means, who is the person that you are most likely to connect with online that you think is actually going to buy your stuff? So many times what happens is we go out there, we throw a bunch of products at people, and we just hope that something sticks. In the internet online space world, it's a very noisy world. So if we're just trying really anything, hoping that someone's just gonna magically find us, we're gonna end up lost in a sea of boutiques. So instead, the very first thing I want you to focus on is, who is your customer? Who are the people that you can actually help with the products that you wanna sell? The very first place I always tell my clients to start is look at yourself first and go, okay, who am I? What is my lifestyle? Because more than likely you are going to be very similar to your target market, to your target audience. I like to call them our heroes in our community, okay? Our heroes. Our boutiques are not just out there trying to push and flip trendy, affordable clothing. Because if that is your whole game plan, you're not going to reach many people at all. So instead, get super focused. Who can you help? So there's a lot, zillions of different niches and target markets that you can actually build a really good business around. Some examples would be like stay-at-home moms who are super busy and have 2 kids under 5 and need like really fast, easy wardrobe items that they could just go into their closet and it takes them 10 minutes to pick out their outfit. You could be helping like women who are in the corporate workforce who want to walk into a boardroom, own the room, and just be like that badass corporate girl. Another example could be the fitness girl. She's in athleisure wear, she's going to the gym, like she's like the yogi. Another could be like retired women who are living on the coast. So it's like, it's endless possibilities, right? But what you want to do is look at who you are right now, because that's a very good indicator of who you can help. What we don't want to do, and I see this mistake a bunch, is we don't want to just pick a random niche. Like, oh, well, I think I'm going to help, I don't know, stay-at-home moms. And you haven't been in that position, so you don't understand the type of clothing and the type of wardrobe and the type of products that they're going to need in their lives to help them win the day, right? Because our products are more than just jeans. It's more than just dresses. It's an actual way that people can help better their lives. So I really want you to change the whole way you look at starting a boutique. It's not just about selling clothes and selling a crap ton of clothes. It's about how your products can fit into someone's lifestyle. So when we're looking at our target market and we're thinking about who's it going to be, who we can help, you really need to make sure you're targeting someone that you can connect with, like on a human level. This piece is missed so much, and this is why there is a huge opportunity for you to start your own boutique right now, because if you can get and understand this piece of the puzzle, where you're actually looking at human connection above anything else, you will freaking skyrocket your business so fast. So look at yourself, look at what type of clothing you wear, the wardrobe you like. What does your lifestyle look like? This is such a key important step. Again, so many people skip this. They just dive in. They have no idea who their customers are or how to target them. If you miss this one step, the rest of your journey is going to be really hard until you figure this out. So now that we've figured out who our target market is, right, in step number 1, let's move on to step number 2, which is naming your online boutique. Isn't this so exciting? Are you excited? I love this part. When you're naming your boutique, a lot of times new store owners just kind of throw random things at the wall. It's like, oh, like Sally and Sue Boutique or Grace and Mary Boutique. I mean, we have seen that. There are so many boutiques with names that feel very generic. And unless there's a really heartfelt story behind it that your customers can get behind because your target market feels the same kind of emotional attachment to the story that you do, we can discuss that. But for most of us out there, our name needs to really connect with our ideal customer. And what I mean by this is when they see the name of your store, is it going to make their ears perk up and they're going to stop, right? Or is it something where they're just going to scroll on by because they don't get it? So everything we do in business is strategic. And the more strategy you have in your business, the more success you're going to have, because you're really laying, again, the foundation where everything's just going to come together and it's all going to work for you. So when you're naming your boutique, we want to think of something that they're going to feel aligned with. So let me give you another example, because you can always apply this to what you're thinking about in terms of starting your own online boutique. So let's say you want to start an eco-friendly boutique and you're going to be selling sustainable clothing, very eco-friendly practices. You make sure the apparel's sourced from factories that have been vetted and all the things. Okay, so you understand it's the eco-friendly vibe. You wouldn't want to name your boutique something that is very off kilter from that core mission, because that mission is what's going to attract your ideal customers to you. So you wouldn't want to name it something like, I don't know, downtown apparel, right? Because it's very generic. It's like, what is downtown apparel? What does that mean? And it's not even aligned with what your audience is going to be searching for. So instead of something like downtown apparel or downtown boutique, name it something that your ideal customer is going to go, ooh, I like that. So maybe it is something like the Go Green Boutique, or Green with Envy Boutique, something that you're going to be able to connect what your ideal customer, what's important to them, with the name of the store. If we can stay away from generic names and we can really nail this, oh my gosh, you're going to be in for a great start. Step number 3, let's talk about buying inventory. Again, so many people go to buying inventory before they've even thought through this process. And this is why I'm like, okay, I love you. I love your enthusiasm, but we need to pump the brakes and we need to talk about our customers. Because again, before you buy one single piece of inventory, I want you to be clear on your ideal customer. Now, can this shift and change and grow as we learn with our business? Can we take messy action? Yes. But can we totally not think about this and just start buying a bunch of random crap and put it on a website and hope that people are going to buy? That's going to be a really, really tough spot for you to be in. And this whole purpose of this channel and this community is to make sure that I'm setting you up to build a 7-figure business. This is not a side hustle channel. This is not a channel where we just learn little tips and hacks. This is a channel where we learn real business strategy for you to build a monstrous business. So if you're going to buy inventory and you don't know who your customer is, your inventory is going to feel very scattered. It's going to end up sitting on the shelf, and I don't want that for you. So instead, when you're thinking about buying inventory, create a mood board first in Pinterest, or if you're old school, you want to cut some pictures out, put them on a vision board, whatever the case may be. Start gathering looks that you feel like your customer, your heroes, are gonna love. Remember, this is all about them, and we can't make the mistake as a business owner thinking that this is all about us, because really our job is to solely be the guide to help our heroes and our customers win the day. That's our job. So when we're buying inventory, that always has to be at the top of our mind. And what I like to tell my clients is I like to say, if you are at, like, let's say a market or a wholesale marketplace online, and you are thinking of buying your first 10 pieces of inventory, you don't have to go crazy, okay? You don't have to buy 50 million different things. I'd rather you start small and then grow. So let's say you're buying 10 items. You're gonna buy, like, I don't know, 2 tops, 2 bottoms, 4 dresses, a couple blazers. You've kind of figured out like what your basic inventory categories are going to look like. Now, when you're going to buy, let's say you have 4 dresses you want to buy. When you look at the items, what I want you to do is ask yourself this question. Is my ideal customer going to be obsessed with this? If the answer is a resounding yes, it's a buy. Add to cart, check out. If the answer is, I'm not sure, maybe, I don't know, it's cute, well, I'm not sure about the color, it's a no. It's a freaking no. I only want you buying things at first that are resounding yeses, okay? Because you're gonna be able to sell it way easier when you are fully behind it, and also your customers, you know that they're gonna fully love it. So this is the key to buying inventory in the beginning. Again, it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of stuff. It doesn't have to be all over the place. The more specific and defined you can get with your buying inventory from the get-go, the better off you're gonna be. Now, again, are we okay with, taking steps forward and just trying things? Yes, but I want you to have all of this at your top of mind. So when you're making your first buying decisions, you can make them with more education and more success. I can make a whole video on where to buy inventory, the different ways we can buy inventory. But here, what I really want you to understand is the psychology and the strategy behind your inventory. Step number 4, now that we've figured out our customer, we've named our boutique, we've bought our inventory, it's time to set up our Shopify site. I get asked all the time, what platform should I use to build my website for my boutique? And I always recommend Shopify. Do I think it's the best thing on the planet Earth? No. But is it the industry standard, and is it really easy for you to get up and running? Yes. And you'll see once you get more advanced and more into your boutique journey, you'll realize that there's a lot of things that you'll have to add on apps and add on plugins for Shopify that aren't like just built in for some reason. I don't know why, but Shopify is the industry standard. What I don't want to happen is you start with a platform that is not built for the sturdiness of e-commerce and growing and scaling. So something like Wix or Squarespace, they have decent platforms, but we're trying to build $1 million companies here. So we don't want to have to be shifting from one platform to another 6 months down the road when you're rolling in the sales, right? We want to make sure we're setting ourselves up in the beginning so we don't have to go through that hassle, because it is a hassle. I've been there. A lot of us have been there. So I'm just telling you, start with Shopify now. It has great strength and power to help you grow and scale. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it works. Now, here's what I want to tell you about starting your Shopify website. Ladies, we got to keep it simple. We can't get all crazy with fonts and colors and images and wild stuff that I see when people are just getting their boutique started. The more simple you can be, and look at other retailers out there. Look at some of the major retailers. Their sites are very simple, and they're simple for a reason. Because simple sells, okay? If you confuse, you lose. I want you to keep this as simple as possible. Shopify has great free themes. You do not need to invest in a theme up front. I don't think I've ever bought a Shopify theme, and I'm 10 years down the road, okay? So you can use a simple free theme like Dawn, and you can do some customization to it to make it represent you and your customers. But we don't want to get so crazy that what happens is when someone comes to your website, it's so distracting and confusing, they bounce. We want people to come to your website, get clearly if it's going to be something that they want to shop from or not, and then buy from you. This is it. We want them to buy from you, right? So we can't scare them off with all kinds of noise. So when you're creating your Shopify website, again, use a very simple theme. I recommend a white background, You have your logo small, you have your graphic images. I'll do a whole video on Shopify websites and what's the best way to create them to convert. But the main point I want you to understand is keep it simple. Don't stray too far away from the template that's already built for you. Graphic design is a really hard place to dive into if you're not a professional. So keep it simple, keep the template how they have it, and then just make a few custom tweaks with your photos and what you're writing into your website, not the overall design. Okay, are you ready for step number 5? This is my favorite step of all. It is starting to market your store. Let's go get some customers. I want you to start marketing for your store ASAP. I don't want you to wait till your products are here and everything's perfect and you're like, okay, I'm going to start creating the most perfect feed. It's going to be beautiful. Like, I want you to just start marketing your store as soon as you decide you're going for it. Okay. We need to be building your audience on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you feel the most comfortable. Maybe it's TikTok. I want you to dive into that platform. In the beginning, you don't have to be everywhere all the time. That is a goal. We do want to be in as many platforms as possible. But when you're just getting started, go to the platform that you're the most comfortable with. So if you're a Facebook user, use Facebook to push your marketing. It's where you're comfortable. You're not going to have a lot of resistance making content. If you're a TikTok girly and you're like, I freaking love TikTok, I'm all about it, go for TikTok. And if you're like, Facebook is not my thing, don't try to force it. The main thing is when you're marketing your boutique in the very beginning, you're going to be going to a lot of people you already know, the relationships you've already built. It's going to be friends, it's going to be family. And I want you to feel comfortable announcing to the world that this is you, this is your new business, because that's scary too. But then also being comfortable using the relationships you've already built. Boutique owners tend to be very friendly, outgoing, wild, out of the box. I know this is you too. So take advantage of that. Don't feel, shy and like you want to hide this. Just get yourself out there. Again, start marketing to your friends and family. You could even start talking about your website and pushing them to a landing page. It could be somewhere where they could just enter their email address so they know that you're getting ready to launch. They'll get an email from you. But the main thing is starting to create the content before you launch. If you don't create content and start building your audience right away, you're going to end up launching to crickets. And that is not fun. So what I'd rather you do is just dive all in on the content. This is where my clients have the most resistance, the most fear, the most confusion, the most like, I don't freaking know what I'm doing. And if this is you, just know this is so common, but the only way to work through the content cringe phase is to actually make the content. So this is another really important step that a lot of people just skip over. They end up just launching their boutique, then they have all this inventory that's not moving, and I don't want that for you, because in this video, we're getting ready to get set up for success. So start marketing right away. Use your social media. It's free. Start getting comfortable being on camera, talking to people, telling them what you have, telling them your plan. You can even talk about how it's a little bit scary. This is a new business for you. Just be real. Remember, the people on the other side of the screen that are scrolling and are going to find you are real humans. And they want to connect with someone who actually feels like a person. So it's just really important that you put yourself out there as soon as you possibly can, not only to get over the cringe phase, but to also start building your audience for your launch. So just to wrap up the 5 steps, it's number 1, know who your customer is. Number 2, name your boutique. Number 3, start buying inventory, the fun part. Number 4, get your Shopify site up and running and keep it simple. And number 5, start your marketing. All right, I wish you the best of luck on this journey. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel where my entire focus is helping you build your 7-figure boutique. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you next time.